Hello everyone, DeckTrolls here, and so today I have for you guys my Weather Painter deck. And I had to make some adjustments because I had Masterpiece in here, so I had to switch them out and just put in a few more cards. So I was asked to do Weather Painter's Cyframe, but I don't have that many Cyframe cards and I'm pretty low on cash right now, so I'm gonna do my own deck profile that I already have. So here we go. You got 3 Weather Painter Snow. When this card is normal summon, you can place one the weather spell or trap card from your deck face up in your spell or trap zone, and you can only use this effect of the Weather Painter Snow once per turn. Once per turn, during the standby phase of the turn this card was banished from the field to activate the effect, the weather effect. You can special summon this banished card. Got 3, the Weather Painter Thunder. You can send one face-up continuous spell or trap card you control to the graveyard. Place one the weather spell or trap card from your deck face-up in your spell and trap zone. You can only use this effect of the Weather Painter Thunder once per turn. Once per turn, during the standby phase of the turn after this card was banished from the field to activate the effect of the weather card, you can special summon this banished card. Have 3, the Weather Painter Rain. If this card is special summoned, you can place one the weather spell or trap card from your hand in face up in your spell and trap zone. You can only use the effect of Weather Painter Rain once per turn. Once per turn, during the standby phase after this card was banished from the field to activate the weather card's effect, you can special summon this card. Banish card. Got 3, the Weather Painter Cloud. If another face-up the weather card you control is sent to the graveyard, you can target up to 2 the weather spell and trap cards in your graveyard and place them face-up in your spell and trap zone. You can only use this effect of the Weather Painter Cloud once per turn. Once per turn, during the standby phase after this card was banished from the field to activate the weather card's effect, you can special summon this banished card. Have 2, the Weather Painter Sun. If this card is in your graveyard, you can send one face-up continuous spell or trap card you control to the graveyard. Special summon this card in defense position, and if you do, place one the weather spell or trap card from your hand and face up in your spell and trap zone. You can only use the effect of the Weather Painter Sun once per turn. Once per turn, during the standby phase after this card was banished from the field to activate the weather card's effect, you can special summon this banished card. Have 2, the Weather Painter Aurora. When this card is normal summon, you can place one the weather spell or trap card from your hand, deck, or graveyard face up in your spell and trap zone. Your opponent cannot target the weather spell or traps you control while with card effects. Also, they cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects once per turn during the standby phase after this card was banished from the field to activate the weather card effect. You can special summon this banished card. And lastly, we have a little bit of tech to replace those masterpieces. 2, Metaltron. I'm honestly not sure the Roman numeral for this. The true Dracombatant. Requires 3 tributes to normal summon, cannot be normal or set. To tribute summon this card face up, you can tribute continuous spells and trap cards you control as well as monsters. It is unaffected by the effects of cards with the same type, monster, spell, and or trap as the original card types that it tributed for its tribute summon. If this card is tribute summoned, monster in its owner's control is destroyed by an opponent's card, either by battle or card effect. You can special summon one fusion, synchro, or Xyz monster that is earth, water, fire, or wind from your extra deck. Alright, that's it for the monsters. Sorry, I'm a little out of breath. I've got 3, the Weather Snowy Canvas. The weather effect monsters in your main monster zone of this card's column and its adjacent columns gain this effect. You can banish this card, quick effect. Add 1 the weather card from your deck to your hand. You can also you cannot add cards from your deck to your hand for the rest of the turn except by drawing them. You can only use control 1 the Weather Snowy Canvas. You have 2 the Weather Cloudy Canvas. The weather effect monsters you control in your main monster zones of this card's column and its adjacent columns gain this effect. You can banish this card, then target 1 face-up monster on the field, except during the damage step, quick effect. Have its current attack for the rest of the turn, but it can attack directly this turn. You can only use the effect of the Weather Cloudy Canvas. You can only use control 1 the Weather Cloudy Canvas. My bad. One, the Weather Rainy Canvas. The weather effect monsters in your main monster zone of this card's column and its adjacent columns gain this effect. You can banish this card, then target 1 spell or trap card your opponent controls, quick effect, return it to the hand. You can only control 1 the Weather Cloudy Canvas. And you have 1 the Weather Sunny Canvas. The weather effect monsters in your main monster zone of this card's column and its adjacent columns gain this effect. You can banish this card, then target 1 monster you control, quick effect, tribute that target. Then if you do, special summon 1 the weather monster from your hand or graveyard, but not with the same name as attributed monster on the hand the monster had on the field. You can only control 1 the Weather Sunny Canvas. Got 2 Soul Absorption. If a card or cards is banished, gain 500 life points for each. Lastly, 1 Dark Hole. Destroy all monsters on the field. Now for the traps, we got 2 the Weather Auroral Canvas. The weather effect monsters in your main monster zone of this card's column and its adjacent columns gain this effect. When exactly 1 card is added to 1 player's hand except during the damage step, you can banish this card, banish the added cards, and if you do, that player draws 1 card. You can only control 1 the Weather Auroral Canvas. You have 3 the Weather Thundery Canvas. The weather effect monsters in your main monster zone of this card's column and its adjacent columns gain this effect. At the start of the damage step, if this card battles an opponent's monster, you can banish this card, return the opponent's monster to the hand. You can only control 1 the Weathery Thunder Canvas. Got 3 Miraculous Descent. Target 1 of your banished fairy monsters, special summon it. When this card leaves the field, destroy that monster. When that monster is destroyed, destroy this card. Got 2 Scrap Iron Scarecrow. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, target 1 attacking monster, target the attack monster, negate the attack. Also, after that, set this card face down instead of sending it to the graveyard. Lastly, for the traps, we have 2 Booby Trap E. Discard 1 card, set 1 continuous trap card from your hand or graveyard to the field. That set card can be activated during this turn. Now for our extra deck, we got 3 monsters. So we got 2 The Weather Painter Rainbow. Requires 3 The Weather monsters. When your opponent would special summon a monster, quick effect, you can send this link summoned card to the graveyard, negate the summon, and if you do, destroy that monster once per turn during the standby phase. After the turn this card was banished from the field to activate a The Weather card's effect, you can special summon this card, this banished card. The Weather monster effects this card points to gain the following effects. When a card or effect is activated, quick effect, you can banish this card, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. You have 1 Super Heavy Samurai Steam Train King. This card can attack while in face-up defense position, and if it does, apply its defense for damage calculation. Once per turn, you can discard up to 2 cards, then target that many cards your opponent controls, destroy them. Once per turn, you can banish all spells and trap cards from the graveyards, and if you do, inflict 200 damage to your opponent for each card banished. And lastly, 1 Naturia Gaiastrio. During either player's turn, when a card or effect is activated that targets exactly 1 card on the field and no other cards, you can send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard, negate the activation, and if you do, destroy that card. Alright guys, that is my Weather Painter Weather Painter deck profile. Sorry, I'm not feeling too well, so I'm getting so out of breath. Tell me what you think. What would you do to improve it? Remember, this is a budget-friendly build, so keep that in mind. So yeah, what would you do to improve it? Please like and subscribe. It's great doing these for you guys. Please like and subscribe and make sure to have fun.